Scotty?
Mm-hmm.
Go.
Oh, start talking?
Yes.
Oh, did the music play?
Yes.
Oh, hey everybody, welcome to the Crafters Tavern.
Hey everyone.
Is this thing on?
We've all had a few.
All right, so welcome to episode 3 of Crafters Tavern. I'm the DMG, and obviously this channel is DM Scotty's channel. And with us is AJ from the channel AJ Pickett, and Nathan from Earl T. Gray. So we're going to have a chat about 2.5D and dungeon engineering and all kinds of cool stuff. And I'd like to thank Nathan and AJ for joining us. AJ is monitoring the comments as we go. He's on a 1-minute delay, so forgive him if he's in two worlds at the same time, the future and the past. And some of you may recognize Nathan from his Crafting Times videos that have recently started doing the beginner box builds. And yeah, so AJ, you had a very interesting question from someone you were asking before.
Yeah, there's a two-part question. One, first part was, and this is from Invisible Moose, hey, what videos, because you started slightly after Scotty with the crafting of the 2.5D stuff, what videos did you see? Are there any in particular of his that you saw that really inspired you to get started making your own videos? And the second part of that question is, have there been any videos that you've seen each other do where you've stopped and gone, damn it, I wish I did that first?
So I think we'll just start with Nathan.
First video I saw that I kept seeing as a suggested video was, I think, the puzzle room, like the kind of liquefied puzzle room. And every time that video would pop up, I think, how did he make this? This would take way too much time. Moving on, whatever I was watching at the time. And then one day I finally saw one of the suggested vids and finally clicked on it and thought, this is so great. It's way easier, cheaper, simpler than I would have ever thought. And that's 2.5 stuff, terrain stuff is pretty much all I watch now. People are like, what do you watch on TV? I'm like, I just watch YouTube pretty much all the time.
TV thing. All right. And AJ?
I think, oh boy, I wasn't there like 2 years ago when it all began, so I sort of started last year, midway through last year. And what inspired me to start making videos was I was crafting the Beholder. Because when I started posting stuff on the forums, because I sort of started on the forums before I started doing these sort of video stuff, and I was doing this step-by-step making this Beholder miniature and posting progress there, and everybody was urging me, oh, you should make a video of this, putting this thing together, so I did. And then it was a long sort of while before I started making any more sort of videos after that. Yeah. And I have no idea. And then yeah, somebody else suggested that I make videos in regards to the actual forum itself, and so that's what I've been doing, is sort of centering my focus on the community that has built up around the crafting.
I kind of like your combination of your papercraft and 2.5D.
Yeah, that's very good.
Like, it's good to show that you can mix and match. You don't have to do just one or the other.
Yeah, I love the overall philosophy of the craft is that anybody can innovate anything that they need. I mean, it's their game, it's their efforts, and everybody's just keen on learning things that everybody else does. And for me, nothing is sacred. You know, I'll grab anything and put it in the game. Like in my latest craft war competition entry, I've got a headlight bulb in there. If anybody notices, it's ripped out of a car and thrown in there because it looked mystical.
Yes, I always do. All right. Well, the first video I saw was actually someone else's 2.5D dungeon, and it had like 30,000 views or something. I was like, what the hell is this? I was like, oh, this is really cool. and then he was talking about this DM Scotty guy, and like, so I'm then doing a search, can't find DM Scotty, because his thing was called DM's Craft. So
Right.
it took me a while to find DM's Craft, because then I think DM Johnny's channel had mentioned it, and he had a link below, and then I was like, oh great, and then then I found DM Scotty's videos, and about a week later my channel started. And at that point I'd probably made 80 tiles and a whole bunch of other furniture and everything like that. So
Yeah, in that first video, don't you say you've only been doing it like 2 weeks?
Yep.
And like you just went ahead and started the channel, right?
yeah, just straight up was like, this is what I want to do.
Yeah, that's good.
The crafter's
that's,
call.
Yeah, absolutely.
real drive.
It's like
Yeah.
howling.
Yeah, I find that if you're passionate about something and you go for something that you really want to do, then things just seem to fall into place. I mean, that it's not so much work; it's just you seize on opportunities when they come up because you're not scared of it not working. You just want to make it happen.
Well, when the
Case in point.
Yeah, I mean, when the channel started, there were two camps: people who liked me and people who didn't.
Funny that.
And now I get harassed every 5 seconds. When is the next video coming out? When is Mini Magic starting? When is this? When is this? It's like, when are you going to get to outside scenery? When are you going to get to towns and cities? When are you going to get to sewers? It's like, there's probably about 300 things still in the dungeon I've got to finish.
Right. I mean, yeah.
So, what
Mark
else have you
Parker. Mark Parker's got a question. A question for DMG. Are you going to make a video on your famous blood fountain?
Yes, there is a video on the blood fountain. It's not on the internet. I haven't decided what I'm going to do with it yet. So,
VHS only.
Yeah,
VHS only.
It may
For
be
the
on
special
Laserdisc.
for the special release DVD,
I'm bringing back Laserdisc.
the Christmas.
Oh yeah.
edition.
Criterion Collection, Laserdisc, DMG.
That's right.
Laser
Laserdisc, yeah.
I'm investing massively in Laserdisc.
Somebody said, DM Scotty, have you got any plans on doing any Hirst Arts videos, or do any of you guys ever use Hirst Arts molds or any sort of plaster casting stuff?
I have actually done my own kind of molds, more of like sculptures and things. But I do own a couple Hirst Arts, but I use them for like details. They're actually the Gothic set. They have some really nice Gothic details, and I do use
like
those. Those are the only two I own, so I really don't plan on doing any. There's so many people doing Hirst Arts that, I'd rather stick to my own niche, and do that as opposed to,
Sure.
Try to do Hirst Arts stuff.
Yeah,
Right.
I do like their little details, like bottles and crates and things like that for like their barroom scenes and things like those.
Right,
Those,
they do have some good stuff. Yeah, they do.
but they're very finicky for mold making.
Yeah.
DM Tucker just did a video on bottles. He said he couldn't find it. I've seen websites on bottles, and I think Nathan did some bottles on the craft. Did you do some on the forum? Or was it someone else?
Might have either been Arthur or there's a DM Nate on there too.
Yeah.
He's done some really great stuff. Could have been him too.
Yeah.
They'll chime in.
I haven't seen bottle ones. I hadn't seen any other bottle ones on YouTube, but yeah. So that I think was, as DM Tucker said, the first one. But I had seen that technique before. Yeah.
Yeah.
Torster on the forums and DM Nate are real innovators. Those guys, like Torster's stuff that he did with pasta was amazing. Just pasta.
Yeah. He's a real experimenter.
Torster's
He's a real experimenter.
Yeah. He is a legend.
And on the old forum, he did a whole thing about the modular wilderness terrain, and it was like, that's why I haven't brought out modular wilderness terrain, because he did it like 6 months ago.
Yeah. Way to go, Torster. You just owned us.
That's
You
right.
just owned us.
Damn, I've got to let people forget about that, and then I can bring it out.
Do any of you guys do any work with cutting expanded polystyrene foam? Packing foam, like
Yeah,
this.
the polystyrene squeaky stuff.
Yeah.
I've only done work with a utility knife, but what I have done, I mean, when you first cut it, man, this looks horrible. But then you base coat it black, you start giving it some tones, and it really starts to look good. Don't use spray paint. Don't use spray paint on phone.
Yeah.
Anybody wants, unless you know what you're doing or there's a reason why.
You know, I actually do use a black spray paint on the foam a little bit because that melting gives a really nice effect. Like it gives a stone-like texture. So if you just hit it a bit, don't overdo it. Don't kill it because it's not going to cover it because it eats into the foam. But if you do spray a little bit, it gives a really nice stone texture. Yeah.
I've used it a bit on outdoor terrain, so just making hills and things that you can easily poke sticks with lichen and stuff attached to it, because it's just so quick and simple to do that, and it looks quite nice on the terrain. That's very much a wargaming sort of terrain thing, but because with outdoors stuff in play, I find it more. They're not going to have miniatures climbing over the hills and things. They're just there as an obstacle, so that archers have got interrupted field of fire and things.
I used to use a lot with wargaming, but you take a polystyrene shape that looks like a building and rip it up a bit, and then use a Zippo lighter underneath to mold it a bit with a flame. The Terrain Tutor did something like that, I think, on his channel a while back. But yeah, as you say, it's a lot more wargame. I mean, I use mine in a blender to make rubble, but that's about as far as I go.
And I used to do a lot more 3D, but I just really like the 2.5D better. It's just easier to see because when I would wargame, we would all stand up and, look and see where the model could see and that kind of thing. But when you're sitting at the table and you got this big giant building in front of you and you can't see what's going on, it's just, that's why I try to avoid all that. And, it can be good to have like a set piece and then you remove the set piece and then you can all see what's going on. But generally, I try to avoid those big hills and giant rocks and all that kind of stuff, just for ease of play and so you can see what's going on. So you have to keep standing up.
Invisible Moose says, would DMG and DM Scotty and AJ and Earl Grey Tea, if they want, be interested in issuing each other a crafting challenge for a D&D feature to make in an upcoming video?
A craft off?
Yes, Craft War was that idea, and Scotty... that was the whole idea. It was like, hey, man!
It could be crafting deathmatch.
That's right.
Since none of us have actually... I don't think any of us have actually won a Craft War yet, have we? I don't think I've come close.
I've only entered one, and it was like kind of last minute, so... Yeah.
Nowhere to go but up!
So, quite clearly, we're not
make our own Craft War.
I like my odds against 4 though versus like 20 people on Craft War. So
right.
Now maybe we'll do another live show, Crafting Deathmatch. You have 20 minutes to make, and then and then everyone suggests what needs to be made in 20 minutes, using only cardboard, hot glue, and paint.
That could be cool. You set up a webcam somewhere, kind of live cam, like Iron Chef or
Croft.
I don't know.
That'd be great.
Yeah, here's your box of junk here. Make
Mystery.
Make Minas Tirith.
What am I supposed to do with these ear cleaners?
They're saying that we should be judges on a challenge, or has anyone attended a convention or something to highlight your videos and crafting wares?
My players did that. And everyone's like, wow, what's this? And they say, oh, you should watch this YouTube channel. And I'm nah.
I think the only people I've really promoted my stuff to is my workmates in the lab. They see my videos and stuff occasionally. Well, little bits of it.
Yep.
It seems like such a niche hobby.
They want me to craft and then to play.
That's right. We don't care about your channel. Just make the damn stuff.
Exactly.
It seems like it's such a specific thing where you have RPG as a hobby, then you have terrain building as a hobby, then you have 2.5D is a hobby, so kind of the. But we're growing. The community is growing. The Facebook group is growing every week, and the subscriptions keep going up. So
close to 1,000.
Yeah.
Yeah. I have noticed. I mentioned it somewhere that there's. In my last video, there seems to be quite an upsurge in activity online from people who are coming out of the woodwork and posting videos and stuff, which is great.
Yeah.
It is.
And the enthusiasm I'm starting to detect for the new edition of Dungeons and Dragons, and I think DM Johnny was preemptively anti-trolling all of the Pathfinder people, which isn't really fair because I mean. I'm always going to be extremely grateful to all the people who play Pathfinder for keeping the game going, you know, keeping the communities and stuff active, because 4th edition was like crickets in the night, you know. Nobody really talked about it. That game that should not be mentioned.
I think Pathfinder has been outselling D&D for the last few years too. So
yeah.
And
Pi says right, that's for sure.
A shout out to DM Johnny for his DMJ video guild on Facebook.
Yeah, the guild.
What a great
that
idea.
was a great idea. That's one of those ideas you go, damn it, why didn't I think of that?
Exactly.
He had to go away and come back and then bring the genius in, you know. Maybe I need to take a walk into War Games. I'll be back.
Yeah.
Larry Sodders, hi Larry, says, I use a separate card table to display the 3D stuff and the main table for 2.5D. Oh, that's a good idea.
That is good.
Interesting.
So, Nathan, do your kids play D&D yet or not?
I'll run them through the tiles, but I'll do a very scaled down rules. So I have like some oversized D6s. So I'll roll for the goblin, and they'll roll for the hero that they want, and see, okay, who had the higher roll? Because I mean, we're pretty basic math right now. But there's one of them.
Hello.
But they think it's pretty cool. So, and, you know, one of the fun things to do too is if I'm crafting stuff is let them play with some paints and let them do stuff too, and it's kind of becomes a little bit of family time. So.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's always great. I mean,
whether I want them here or not, it's family time. So.
And that's the stuff the kids are going to remember. They're going to remember that their dad did that with them. They're not going to remember that they got Arthur's castle, you know, or whatever junk toy they got. They're going to remember the time you spent with them and the crafting. Oh yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh yeah.
Scotty, did your players enjoy being on screen on your live gameplay videos, and are we going to see more? We'd sure like to see more, says Adovarius. Nice name.
I wasn't going to do any more because I didn't really want to edit them that much because it's kind of a pain. I would just basically, we play like all day. So I have like 8 hours of footage, you know, that I'd have to edit. And so I was just throwing half an hour, you know, whatever's on there is on there. I'm just throwing, you know, half an hour segments. And I kind of like, well, I don't know about this. And so, but I've had other people ask, so I think I might start doing it again. But I might do some editing. Like I'll take some choice bits out and, you know, edit it down so it's not just straight run of half an hour a segment. You know, sometimes arguing about rules or talking about rules or whatever.
Larry Sodders says, should use this forum and play a game like Acquisitions Incorporated. Larry, we're all Dungeon Masters, and as you probably know, Dungeon Masters make terrible players. So I don't know how having 4 or 5 Dungeon Masters.
Some of us are very evil players and are not allowed to play as players anymore.
Exactly. Who's going to DM?
I get kicked out of every game I play in. Every game. It's like, you know... I just want to mine through the walls. It's an easy way to do it.
Sierra says, do you guys plan on going on to Next? Your thoughts on the price point? We were actually talking about this here before we started broadcast.
Yeah.
Somebody's house is bugged. Somebody's listening in.
Is it me?
What? Where? What?
Seeing as I've got like 3 microphones in front of me, I think that's probably me.
I think the relevant points we touched on were that the starter set has just come out, as you know, and it's relatively cheap. It's got a copy of a full set of the rules in there, so that you can play up to any level with that. It doesn't have a lot of resources in it. It's just got like 30 monsters or something. But it's basically the complete game, pretty much right there. The Dungeon Master's Guide, when they bring it out, is going to be a more pricey thing, about $50 US or so. But that's a fairly average price for a good hardcover book these days. And during the early days of the playtest, they were actually asking people how much they would be willing to pay for a good quality product with a lot of artwork and stuff in it, because they are very art heavy apparently. And that was the price point that they came out with. So it's really our fault for suggesting.
Damn us.
And I mean, personally, I'm going to have those books for years and years, so I don't mind putting out some money into something that I love so much. So
this is what I said on a Fistful of Dice's video. I said, if you went to a movie or something and you spent, well, in Australia you'd spend about $25 on going to a movie. So I don't know what it is in the US, but here it's $25 on a cheap Tuesday. It's like 15. But so that's 3 hours worth of entertainment. So when we talk about years of entertainment, an investment of $50 is really not a hell of a lot of money.
No, it's not. Yeah, when you think
role
about
playing
it
is dirt cheap.
And also in the US they were talking about $30, $50 a book, which in Australia will turn into $100, $180 a book, even though the dollars are almost exactly the same. So
oh, really?
They like to screw us down here.
Matt Parker says, "What is your favorite style and color of RPG dice?" That's a good question.
That is a good question.
I'll start that. It has to be black, and I have no black dice because I can never
Oh, you
find them.
don't? Oh, did your players take them?
No, I can never find them. I can never find any black dice.
Oh,
Never.
I like red for blood, for PC blood. Those are always my best rollers.
Nathan?
I like any set that's complete, because they're always, or the dangerous thing of, oh yeah, let's meet at different people's places, and I'm always, maybe it's an OCD thing or something. I was like, shoot, like make sure all the dice are there. You got the set still.
We had a friend of mine who gave up playing Dungeons and Dragons. Apparently, some people do that. And he left behind his huge collection of dice, which is now our guest pickup dice. So if anybody comes in, they haven't got their dice, we just throw this huge bag at them and say, just take whatever you need.
The house dice.
The house dice. I've got a small select group of winnowed down dice, and my favourite is my Black Dungeon Master's D20, which nobody else touches. And it rolls like it's got some sort of psychic connection to me. It's wonderful. I will be buried with that dice.
I had a guy.
Other than that, I like sparkly blue ones. It's
baby blue.
Nathan?
Yeah. I was going to say, I had a guy at our last game, kind of like Babe Ruth calling his home run. He said, I'm going to roll a 20 on this one, and boom, and the room just exploded with joyous geek elation as the 20 rolled on there. So
that's so awesome. That's so awesome.
If I did that, it would be a 1.
Your daughters take off with the dice, Nathan?
I keep a lot of things in high places.
Oh, gotcha.
I keep all my books up there and stuff, so I'm pretty guarded, but I'm supervised, I guess, that they can mess around with the dice. So some of them is a choking hazard. So
I swallowed one once. Don't ask me
or
how that happened.
Like the D4.
Starter set sets you to level 1 to 5. It says in the wizards. Yeah, that's true. Sorry, I'm just responding to the forum here. They're still talking about.
I want to say hi to my family. They're all watching.
Oh
yeah,
hey, family.
Hey, family.
My mother's probably watching in disgust. Hi, Mom.
Also, hi to Matt from Fistful of Dice. I think we all like your channel. So if you're watching this,
Matt, if you're watching,
I always send people to his channel when they ask about RPG advice.
Yep.
It's like,
Yep.
go to Matt's channel. Yep.
Yep. Go to guy. If you ever want to appear on here, just talk to DM Scotty or DMG.
Yep.
Actually, that goes for DM Johnny too.
Well, DM Johnny's always welcome,
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
but he has to
Oh,
pay
yeah.
a small fee.
Actually, he's probably the only one who'd be able to DM us,
Yeah.
to tell you the
He
truth.
just said
Yeah,
he made
probably is,
$500 from some games, so he can.
What else was it? Did any of you participate in the D&D Next playtest? Yes, I did. I don't know about you guys, but I've been playing it for the last
Does
3 years.
anyone
I
remember
do it
the
at home,
fiasco
I
the
played
first
some
day?
at- Sorry.
Sorry, Nathan.
Oh, I was gonna say, does anyone remember the fiasco the first day? Their servers all crashed when everyone's trying to download the first packet.
Oh, no, I didn't
Oh,
hear that.
yeah, it's pretty crazy.
I did play at Gen Con. I did play like a scenario at Gen Con with the Next playtest rules. It was
cool.
kind of fun. It was like a special set of dice, which was kind of neat. And they had an interesting thing where this dragon was flying around the table, and it had a certain amount of time it would stay at the table, and then it would like go to the next table. So it was like kind of jumping down on the tables, and I ended up killing it. It was like the other parties had wounded it enough that I ended up getting the killing blow on it. I'm like, can I take the miniature home? They're like, no.
No, you may not. When is Gen Con?
Part of the non-disclosure.
But I killed it.
What time of the year is Gen Con?
Trophy.
What time of the year is Gen Con?
It's what is the date? It's coming
Isn't
up.
it always August?
Yeah. That's right. I think that's right.
Because I'm going to be in America next year, but in October. So I thought, if it coincides, but it'll be my wedding, so I can't really skip out on the wedding to go to Gen Con.
Right, yeah.
Oh, congrats!
Thanks. Man.
Yeah. Congratulations. Yeah, they're
I
talking about
guarantee-
splitting Gen Con
Yeah.
because it's so big.
I guarantee RPGs will become a marriage strife issue at some point. Just giving you a heads up.
No. She knows all about it. That's why I have to do my videos late at night.
Yeah.
Doesn't
Oh, yeah.
interfere with us.
Sneak in the.
We've got somebody who's watching who said that, I was at that playtest at Gen Con, so they were probably standing not so far away.
Cool.
Would any of you consider creating a Tumblr page? I would follow you like so much, says Invisible Moose.
Yeah, the problem with that
yeah,
is once you have one of those, you've got to have like Instagram and photo buckets and
Snapchat and Twitter.
and streamer blobber blobber jooba dooba looba dooba.
I'm just going to go on record and say
I
that
might
I'm
post
never
it
going to
to
tweet or Snapchat anybody.
You'll
ever.
just find everything will be one generic post that basically goes across everything. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm going to start a MySpace, and that way no one will ever see it. So
Yeah, on my live journal. Yeah.
yeah.
we'll have to start Craft Space to see if we can put together
Craft
some
space.
kind
Yeah.
Ooh,
Hey, there we go.
our
That'll be
own
our
social
start.
network.
I like that.
Get like a IPO on the
I'm on it.
stock exchange.
Yeah.
We raise billions of dollars. And
Can you imagine the
joke about that, 'cause
documentary?
We're just doing it free with cardboard.
I'll have billions of copper coins.
It says Gen Con is August 14th to 18th.
Yes, that's right. That's right.
NC Theory says, do any of you like to collect multiples of single minis, like Reaper minis? I always envisioned different styles for it and have to get multiples to paint those in the different ways that I imagine, like a whole variation. I get whatever minis I can find and afford. It tends to be whatever's around in my neighborhood.
Right.
So.
Right.
They're just getting better and better. Because... Sorry?
Oh, I try to get different minis, but you can't always,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Some of the bargain minis that people find, like turning some toys into like wrestle figures into giants and things like that. I love watching that stuff.
Yeah,
That's great.
that's
That's
great.
what I
That's
prefer. I think that's if you can't find something, make it.
Yeah. Let's not
My
forget that's
theory-
how miniatures started, and then D&D was going down to the dime store and picking up whatever you could find.
Yeah. My theory is when 3D printing gets cheap enough, that whole issue of supply and demand will change a lot. You know, just okay, how many orcs you need? Boom, start printing them.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't
Right.
wait for mini piracy.
You're killing the sculptors market. Oh, you're funding terrorism.
You know,
Yeah, it'll all be
you and
about
your elf
3D.
army
Funding terrorism one
terrorism.
orc at a time. Shapeways makes custom dice and things like that for people. That's where people submit designs for 3D objects, and then people order those objects, and then Shapeways creates them and posts them out to people around the world. And you can get some really cool looking dice and stuff that way. And I'm pretty sure that it's just a matter of things getting finer and finer, and materials getting stronger before we start seeing miniatures which are just dirt cheap and on the market.
And yeah, also the copyright issues as well. You can't just take a mini that you bought in the store, scan it, and print out a whole lot more, and then sell them to your friends.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right.
Yeah. But once again, it's like the music industry, anything like that. The creators basically have to adapt to being designers more than makers of things, and that's fine. I mean, I'm no good at computer-aided design, but if I have to, I will learn. Yeah.
But that's
For the most part,
you've got to have a situation where you've got 3D scanners and a 3D printer, so you can sculpt something and then put it into print it out in 3D. So that is so you can still do it in a tactile way, but yeah, it's because otherwise if it's all software driven. Because I've seen a lot of stuff that people have designed in 3D that it's far too clean. It looks like it was made in a computer.
Right.
yeah.
My
Yeah,
bet would
handmade
be.
mini- Sorry, Nathan.
Oh, I was going to say though, my bet would be in regards to copyright and stuff. I mean, look at this community right now. We're all sharing our trade secrets.
Yeah.
The RPG hobby has so many fans. Somebody would say, okay, I'm going to sculpt this. It's open source. Here's the file. Go at it. Change it. I mean, that would be my bet, just with how the type of people that are attracted to this hobby are very much, they want to share. So it's a cool thing.
True. Yeah, very true. Very
And
true.
it's just sort of about determining what your revenue stream would be. Are you making monies from that, or are you give them the army for free, but the generals cost you $5 or something?
Sure.
The specialist
Some models.
cost you more than the dregs. So
Right.
anyway, that's financial information.
CSS, have you guys ever considered 15mm miniatures? I've considered it, and it's very, very small. It's very small to craft stuff like that. Nate is it Nate who's making the 15mm stuff?
Yeah.
Future stuff, yeah.
He's doing these. Yeah, he's doing really, really tiny miniatures of people figures and stuff. But I don't think photos really let you know just how small 15mm is. I mean, it's a human figure.
Yeah.
That big. It's tiny, and here's a 28mm. It's
Right.
and you're trying to make a face on that. Whoa. Working with
Yeah.
Was that a
working
3D
with-
printed 15mm there?
that's a bit of plasticine. Yeah, it's like stock and trade.
It was a very good piece of plastic.
That's as fine a detail as I could get on my 3D printer. There.
Yeah.
This thing,
Hey,
yeah.
here's
You
your
got a
figure.
ways to go.
I can't even
What's the
get
resolution on these fingers?
I can't even get faces right on 1:6 scale.
Yeah. So yeah, 15mm is, although it's a space-saving option, it's very difficult
It
to
is,
craft.
yeah.
It's that small. Yeah.
Yeah.
He said that going from 15mm back to 28mm is just like whoa. Suddenly you're working on a giant. So.
Oh, I bet it feels that way, yeah.
We're still waiting for DMG's mini magic videos, and we hassle him about it every minute.
Told you. NSA's listening. Somebody is.
Someone's got their bug in my ear. Now that will come out in the next. I don't want to say exactly when, but what I've been doing, I've been making a lot of miniatures, and I'm shooting an intro. Because I have this production thing that I have to do because that's part of my hobby. Not only is it crafting, but actually making videos is part of my hobby. So, and I like to put out good stuff. So, which is of course a subjective opinion.
Yeah, making videos for me is a weekend activity, so that's generally why I just post once or twice a week.
And Nathan, what are we going to see after the beginner's box build?
Oh yeah.
Oh yes.
Okay, I didn't know if you'd want to hear what's next. I posted just tonight a retrospective of the beginner's box of all the rooms, and now the next one, like, man, that first one took me long enough. I'll probably be like, in the next 20 years I'll finish this next one. But this is, who can tell me what module this is?
Oh, keep on the Borderlands, huh?
Wow.
Keep on the Borderlands. So this is by many, in their estimation, classic Gygaxian dungeon crawl and a fortress. So my goal is the fortress. I'm calling it 3D Delta 2.5D, where the whole keep is 3D, but the Delta, it can change into 2.5D tiles at any time. Gosh, nice. I'm running my mouth. There's no way I'm going to be able to do all this, but I'm just keep talking here. and then the rest of the Caves of the Unknown and a couple other scenarios. But this copy I actually picked up today to have some sort of giveaway during the build of that, so somebody could win a copy of it. And
nice.
Yeah, you guys were talking about edition wars. I maybe I'm like an old soul, but I've actually been getting into first edition and collecting first edition stuff lately.
There are different editions.
I think
just one big game with different rules.
Going back to what AJ was saying though, with videos, and you too, DMG. I think the fun part of making a YouTube channel, I'd encourage for anybody is kind of, again, it's a hobby with multiple layers. So you have the RPG hobby, then you make the terrain, then you make a video about making the terrain, and now we're on a show about videos about making terrain, and then the universe implodes at some point if we have one more channel, or Crafter's Tavern recap video or something. I don't know, one too many things.
Retrospective.
But but that's the fun of it, is it kind of the gift that keeps on giving. Like, if you don't have time to play with your friends, you can still build terrain or make a video about it. So there's always something you can do. So
yeah.
Because there are a lot of people who don't actually play, who just craft because they don't have players or anything.
Right,
so,
I've had a lot of people say that.
Yeah. So
yeah, it's a way to fill the void.
Yeah.
Yeah. When I do get my group, I'll be ready.
Yeah.
I will have huge worlds.
I can just imagine. I went round to this guy's house, to have a casual game on a Sunday, and like the entire place was like Lilliput, It was like Gulliver's Travels. He had everything you could possibly imagine. He's like, "What game do you want to play? Traveller, Paranoia, D&D." I got tunnel to the trolls here, man. Come on, come back.
Finding new players is a problem, as you're going through now, AJ. So
Yeah, it's just a matter of scheduling, really. I've got another guy who he runs a courier truck, so he's got to get up really early in the morning, and so he doesn't want to go too late in the evening. So it's a matter of scheduling. Adults have jobs and kids and schedules and stuff, so
Yeah, get rid of all of those. Don't fall into the trap.
Priorities, man, priorities.
They're lying to you.
To somebody else who was saying before, is there quick ways of doing miniatures and things, and are we planning on filming miniatures videos? I'm planning on doing a couple of miniatures related videos, things like painting up the Earth Elemental. Oh, actually, I'll show you that. I haven't even started painting this thing. See if I can.
Oh yeah.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Nice.
So it's a bit more
That was
complicated.
great.
So it's got this arching crystal bit around the top there.
It's a bit like the crystalline entity.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nathan will get that.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Seeing as Earl T. Grey, I'm sure, is a bastardization of a Star Trek thing.
Well, I don't remember. I think I saw it written on an actual Earl Grey tea bag. It was all different, but then I thought that's a sort of a weird moniker, I guess. And it sounds like Spanish for El Tigre is the tiger. So, which when you think of DM crafting, you think tiger, right? So
I thought more baboon, but you know.
Oh,
Just me.
Mel, the terrain tutor, has joined us on the forum and he's watching. Hi, Mel.
Hey, how's it going?
yo.
Are your kids doing their dungeons nicely now? I'm expecting a shipment.
Yeah, put them to work. Put them to work.
So someone called the UK child labor enforcement for the factory he's got.
I think England pioneered child labour, didn't it, back in the coal burning stages?
Yeah,
Yeah.
They invented child labor.
that's right.
Yeah.
They invented everything.
True.
Till Larry sort of says, I'm building a set of blocks on strings to be able to lay out on the fly rooms on a terrain mat. Anybody have any ideas on how to make the blocks look realistic? Thinking of using the spray paint on foam. That's an option.
Are they individual blocks?
Yeah, on string.
Oh.
I think we'd like to see that, Larry. If you can post some pictures on the forums, that sounds quite interesting.
Yeah.
Haven't got really much advice to give on something. It's hard to visualize what you're talking about.
I have been working on a 2.5D kind of modular walls that you don't need the interior room. You can just set up the walls, kind of like I did the cave system. But it looks pretty neat. I should have the video here out in the next month. So
Cool.
You can have it in a futuristic setting where the blocks all look somehow like Legos, and then all the work's done for you. So.
yeah, there you go. Just get Legos,
Yeah.
spray paint it with the texture paint, and there you go. You're done.
I've got this foam that we use in boxes of CO2 ice that we store lab chemicals in. I just like squeezing this foam. And I'm going to chop it up. I'm going to try painting that to be like a rocky stuff and see whether the paint will actually stick to it so I can make it into walls that can just be twisted around and pinned onto this material itself.
Well, when I was painting with my square sponge, I was looking at the sponge going, yeah, that might be a rock.
Yeah, could be.
Yeah, it would make good rocks. Yeah.
Anybody who's tried to paint to clean paint out of a sponge if it's been dried on, yeah, let me know how durable it is.
I just don't know how cheap it would be, that's all. You've got to find large quantities of foam.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, this stuff arrives, with very expensive lab components. So I've got an opposite problem to everybody else. I've got too much cardboard and foam and stuff. I'm swimming in this stuff.
Well, there was someone on the forum who was doing the freeform walls, and they were a teacher, and they had like the wooden sticks that had like they looked like blocks. They looked like a bunch of blocks that had been put together, and he just painted them like stone, and that was pretty cool. I mean, I really like to see that kind of stuff where people like you, AJ, take stuff that they get at work that's going to be thrown away or just trashed, and then they make stuff out of it for their table. I think that's so cool. I mean, I love seeing that stuff.
Yeah, there's a really old video I watched the other day. It was an American guy. He's a fairly young guy. I don't think I've seen him on the forums for ages, but this is back in 2012, 2013. And he was taking just trash, like stuff that he'd thrown out. So he had bits of pizza boxes and like cigarette packets and whatever. And he also pioneered making the wisps out of the glue gun into spider webs.
Right.
That's where I borrowed that idea from. So yeah, that's pretty good.
That's a cool idea. Yeah.
It's pretty hard not to make spider webs.
I know.
I know.
I thought, well, if I'm going to do it anyway.
I got to
covered
use
in
this
biscuits.
crap.
There's been times where I've had a heavy glue gun session, if there is such a thing, and I'll be I move from here to here and I go because I've got bits of whistle just thrown up into my face.
I'm sure sometimes you'll see, some of us, working on our videos, and I'm doing the glue gun, and I'll be pulling it away, trying to pull the wisps away, because it's just you're just gonna get them. It's just. Yeah.
I edit out all of the wisp stuff.
I usually just throw them back in with the tip of the glue gun.
But my glue gun just died, so I've got to go and get another one.
Oh no!
Cheap
I've got like
Chinese
6
junk.
glue guns. Like
my mini glue gun is. I had one. My mini glue gun we already had before I started doing this was pink. That thing died, and I was like, yes, I can get a new glue gun. Go to the store. Only color left in mini is pink.
Oh.
So still stuck with it.
Oh man.
Whatever.
I may splash out for a small one. But I've got a huge mountain of normal glue sticks. So.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, the
that
small
reminds
one
me.
does come in handy. It really does.
Yeah.
I'm going to lay down a challenge to everybody watching this broadcast, or current or future, to decorate your glue gun with another glue gun and post the prettiest one on the forum will win bragging rights forever.
The universe is starting to shake. That's the implosion I was talking about.
Now I gotta decorate my glue gun.
Yeah, we should have a special post just about our love for our glue guns. So the biggest glue gun, the smallest glue gun, the prettiest,
Yeah, it's about
Biggest loser.
the cheapest,
the biggest
cheapest,
loser.
most broken-looking one.
Or the biggest user of glue sticks.
If there's anybody out there who's got a homemade or redneck glue gun, let me know. I want to see it.
I have
Oh,
to
I didn't
say,
see that.
I have to say, the best quote of the day was the biggest glueser, and we'll put up a like button for that.
Biggest glueser.
Somebody get the URL. Get the URL for that. Hurry.
I'm registering it now.
Dark Slayer's here. Hi, Dark Slayer.
Any other questions? Stop playing on your phone.
Oh, that's somebody's getting me.
I need to buy stock and glue guns and glue.
Oh, I have a question while we're on glue guns.
Yep.
Who uses the double length and who uses the normal ones? Scotty, I've seen you use some of your older videos. It seems like you had like the foot-long ones or whatever, but I don't know. If you use a lot of times for the stores here in the States, you can do a half-price coupon. It's more economical. I can throw those on a big bag of the half-size ones, but.
Oh, right. I usually use the double, just because it's less changing of the glue stick.
Yeah.
I can't find any doubles. I found like a 1.5, but haven't been able to find the really long ones.
Need like a drum feed glue. So I need
Have you guys ever used coloured hot glue? And Mel, yes, we do have issues with glue guns, but I'm sure you do too.
Yeah. I just bought some red and yellow glue gun sticks, and I was going to play with the fire technique with on the plastic.
Cool.
Yeah, I haven't tried it yet though. But I just got some.
Someone posted on my mushroom video yesterday asking if I'd tried using coloured hot glue for doing mushrooms and things like that. To me, it's just an expense. It's to go out and buy a whole bunch of red and blue and green hot glue when I can just paint normal hot glue, and normal hot glue is a hell of a lot cheaper than
Right.
coloured.
Plus, you got to run it through the gun.
Yeah. And you
Yeah.
can't take it out of the gun once you can't take it out.
You can't just
I
put one
find
squeeze and take it out, right?
I find using fiberglass resin or 2-part epoxy glue and just putting a tiny bit, just a tiny bit of acrylic paint in there. That takes care of any sort of textured, clear, lacquered type thing that you need to do. So that's my cheap method. That's how I make my green slimes and things like that.
Yep. Black puddings.
Awesome.
Yeah. Exactly. What else? Blah 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 blah.
Blah 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 blah.
More questions. More questions. Oh, is anybody else working on any sci-fi stuff? Says Sierra, or is it just DM Scotty who's done some sci-fi things?
It's just DM Scotty at this point.
Well, now I want to make some Star Trek stuff. DMG, you got me thinking about it.
Yeah, I've been crafting for my campaign, and very shortly I'm going to be crafting slightly different terrain. But since one of my players is currently on the forum and watching this right now, I can't talk about it.
Whoever you are,
Busted.
Disconnect.
Player spoiler alert.
Cannot
That's one
talk
thing you
about.
have to be careful about doing these videos. You don't want to give too much, because I have players that watch the videos, so I don't want to.
You could do some misdirection though. Like go all out and make a tile you will never use that they're all prepared for buying items for, and then you don't use it.
Right, be like, here's the Tarrasque I made.
Well, when my players saw the necromantic mega death machine or whatever it was I did for the first craft war, they were like, "Oh my god, what on earth are we going to do with it?"
And they're like, he's not just doing that.
We are so dead.
Mel the Terrain Tutor says, I'm a PVA man myself, that's the wood glue. That's a gateway glue, Mel, and you will soon be on the hard stuff with the rest of us. Cooking hot glue in the privacy of your own home.
Yeah.
Out the back in the alleyway buying sticks.
Talking of hard stuff, has anybody used any other materials other than cardboard? Any harder materials for crafting your tiles? Any wood or anything like that?
Someone's doing a double-sided tiles with wood at the moment on the forums. I can't remember his handle, but yeah. So he's doing, the standard tile on one side, and then you can reverse it and it has other effects and things on the other side. And then he's using wood as the floor, and then cardboard for the walls.
Yeah.
I inherited a ton of foam board. The thin foam board, but I haven't used it a lot. I've seen some really cool stuff on the forum though that you can etch into there and give it, and even sand it and all sorts of crazy stuff. So
it's really easy to etch into. Yeah.
I'd love to use that stuff, but it's hideously expensive here. It's like $13 a sheet.
Yeah.
You can get it here for $1 a sheet at the dollar store. They sell it, and the paper just peels right off, which is great because that's what you want to do, because you want to carve into the foam part. So the paper just rips right off.
Mel the Terrain Tutor will tell you all about how to remove that. It's a whole video on painstakingly cutting.
DMG, do you have an ETA on your gaming system?
It should. The beta test will probably start in another month or two, and on my channel, I'm starting a series called Delving the Dark, which will go through dungeon levels as a showcase for the tiles that I've done so far, but it will also be a playable dungeon. It will be accessible to any system. However, it will be the playtest system for the rule set when it comes out. So you'll be able to, I will put out PDFs and things for that, but I'll have a sign-up system for people to sign up and playtest the rules. The alpha test hasn't finished yet. There's still a few things that we're going through. If you are interested in that, you can sign up for my newsletter on my website. I do post every now and again. I send out an email about what I'm doing. So
that's the DMG info.
The DMG.info, yeah.
.info.
I've seen that once or twice at the end of your videos. I can't.
I have videos.
Website.
There's a website.
Dark Slayer says, AJ, have you ever been to the Shire? Lol. Yes. No, I haven't. I live very close to it, ridiculously close to it. Actually, it's just like over in Manhattan.
Really?
Yeah, I do.
Why are you not shooting videos there? How to make a hobbit hole?
A wizard shoots videos when he wants to.
Yeah, go take your laptop, set up in front of inside of Bilbo's house, and
Coming to you live from the Shire today, it's the mighty glue stick.
of course, then they just see this round door behind you.
How cool would it be to run a game out there?
Yes.
Oh,
Oh,
it'd be
yeah.
nice.
Be like
It's-
Dream
yeah.
Game.
It's
Yeah.
just past midwinter now, so maybe in the summer I'll drag some people out there.
Chilly
We'll have a
out.
game in Shire. Take the day off.
Wow.
The hobbits will all
Yeah.
freeze to death.
Well,
Yeah, lots
if
of
we're at,
disapproving hobbits. We don't like this role-playing stuff.
Are there,
Handing
what
out
was it?
check
Someone
tracks.
was posting about the Kenners, the not the evil halflings, but the
Kenda
Kender.
Kender.
That's
oh
it.
yeah,
from
Dragonlance.
Dragonlance.
Yeah.
Yeah. Kleptomaniacs.
That's right. He's going on about how everyone always calls them the evil things, and I just did it. So there you go.
They're not evil. They just don't understand that people's property is something that they want to keep. Do you guys use airbrushes a lot? Do you prefer hand painting tiles? I prefer to paint miniatures, not tiles. I don't use an airbrush. I don't know about you guys. Have you ever used airbrushes on stuff?
Nah. Just straight old spray paint.
I have before, but I don't usually.
It's too noisy.
And you got to clean it
Yeah.
every time.
You gotta clean it, and it's just a lot of work. It's less work just to whip out a brush and just and then you're done.
Yeah, no, I'm not a cleaning person.
Also, there's a lot of skill involved in using an airbrush.
Yeah.
I mean, anybody can just use one badly, but using one well on a miniature or terrain, I don't know.
It'd be good for painting large amounts of like undercoating and stuff like that, or
Right.
someone was asking about how to do ice terrain, and if you were doing something like that, you may be able to get a nice look to a tile. But it's quite a skill to get through, and it's the equipment and compressors, and you're going to be spending a couple of $100 just on getting the equipment up and running, and you could build 4 or
Right.
5 very large dungeons for that.
That's
Mel
minimum.
Train Tutor says, "What are your thoughts on Super Dungeon Explorer, Hero Quest, etc.?"
I don't know what I was talking about.
Mel, we don't know. Hero
I like
Quest.
them.
Hero Quest is an old board game.
Yeah.
So I've owned and played Hero Quest. In fact, I played it so much that it's now no longer functional and it's gone. The guy that I was getting to make modular maps for 2.5D, he was doing his maps for Hero Quest. Him and his wife, that's Joe and Sarah. They play Hero Quest, and they started making maps for that. They looked around on the internet to see who was making terrain map stuff, and they saw DM Scotty's videos, and yeah, that was why they were kind of keen to do the 2.5D modular stuff for me, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, it's perfect for that kind of stuff. Yeah, for those board games like that.
Yeah, so I'm going to be featuring that stuff on upcoming videos. I won't go into it now, but yeah, you'll be able to see me making that sort of stuff and plugging products. I don't do it for any money, I should mention. I just, I wanted it done, so it made it happen. It was pretty cool. Yeah. Kender are better than hobbits, says Joe Spears. Do we really want to go?
We can't say
Jerry,
hobbits.
Jerry.
Getting racist about races that don't even exist? Come on.
A true racist would even hate fictional racists. I should. They're just upset even about the fictional races, man.
Yeah, I don't like how they're flooding my community.
Airbrush
This game
is
has
good
gone
for
south
Mexico
since they
industry.
arrived.
Dragon Strike. Oh, have you guys ever seen the old advert for Dragon Strike? It was like a D&D board game type.
I had it actually.
Oh,
I had
Wow.
do you still have the VHS tape?
I don't. I don't have the
Could you
game
get-
anymore.
You can watch the whole thing on YouTube. It's like, well, yeah. If you don't have a lot going on, I guess, go
I
ahead
did
and
a
watch
few
all
months
30
ago. I
minutes
did
of
a few
Dragon
months ago.
Strike.
Yeah, it's pretty
You
hilarious.
can't unsee it.
No, you can't.
I'm so not watching
It'll
that
be
video.
burned in your memory forever.
I watched a good 10 minutes of a Fijian Indian soap opera last night, which was like a cross between a regular soap opera and the sound effects from Dragon Ball Z with the whoa, focusing on the eyes. it broke my mind a little bit, but it was great. Watching Dragon Strike, it's kind of like that.
It's that that Filipino action star who's a little person from the 70s, I think. And he made like 40 movies, and he's like Jackie Chan of the Philippines, but he's a little person. And it just the most insane movies.
It's fantastic. That's
it's like a
quality
secret
right
agent or whatever.
Yeah, he's a secret agent. Was this 007 meets Jackie Chan?
Larry says, do any of you guys sell your stuff, and if so, where, what, and where? I occasionally sell miniatures on Etsy, but no, I'm not in it for the money, so I don't sell terrain as of yet. Don't know about you guys.
I used to do full blown like war game terrain, but I stopped doing that. So the economy kind of crashed, and so people weren't buying stuff that was that was extra expense. So I stopped doing it. But then I started doing the 2.5D, and I can't stop.
Mad Lad Designs has joined us. Hi.
Hey.
He asks, how do you store your terrain, and have you had any break?
And you need to respond to us on the forum. Go and have a look at what we're talking about.
I just stack all my tiles on shelves, and then my breakable terrain I put in tackle boxes or clear I like to put them in clear plastic boxes. That way it's easy to see what's in it.
Mine's just a cardboard box. I think you see it in episode 0.
Yeah.
Still in the sandbox.
Yeah.
Mine's related to the...
Sorry, Nathan.
Go ahead, AJ.
Mine's just thrown into cardboard boxes. Yeah.
Mine is related to the last question. If I take up too much space, I'm going to have to open a store to sell all the all the stuff. Like I said, a marriage issue starts to crop up with this. So
you got to get them into the craft. That's the whole idea.
The kids are an easy sell. The wife, not so much. We'll see. She'll come around.
Christopher Tennant's
got it going.
Christopher Tennant asks Nathan, do you plan on making your own unique stuff after you finish the boxed run? And also, are you seriously thinking about doing Star Trek?
I don't have like a Star Trek RPG system.
You don't need one.
I've heard it's quite good,
the
latest one.
Honestly, that would be one that would be so much fun just to have it around, and then you could lie to people and say, oh yeah, it's for my gaming group that doesn't exist, that we play this. For unique stuff, honestly, I'm pretty new to the RPG hobby within the last couple of years, so, and kind of how my take is, I even the pre-written ones are like so new to me that I think for some people they're just, oh yeah, keep on the Borderlands. It was fun, but I want to do something new. Like for me, it's all new. So I kind of like having a template to work off of, and so yeah, I guess we'll see where I go. I don't know. Thanks for the question, though.
Yeah, I would love to do terrain for Supers games and stuff like that, because I played Heroes Unlimited for years. It was a fantastic system. I'm not going to start talking about rifts and how bad that is, but the rest of it was really good. That was Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and Heroes Unlimited and Ninjas and Super Spies sort of blended together from Palladium Books, and that system. It's a bit controversial, really. Some people really hate it, and some people really like it. But I know it like the back of my hand, and I would love to run a game of that with a bunch of people someday, and use actual terrain for it. But Supers games don't really lend themselves very well to terrain and doing it on a tabletop, because if you've got a guy who can fly at 500 miles an hour, it's
right.
Theatre of the Mind really does it justice. Yeah, it's a lot of terrain. You might have like a skyscraper or something like that, but skyscrapers, from a terrain point of view, are really boring. They're all just boxes.
It's just a box.
You might as well just put a bunch of cardboard boxes on your lounge floor and fly your miniatures around.
More cardboard boxes on your lounge.
The cardboard boxes that you're already storing your other stuff in, just drag them out and say, okay, that's a city.
With the flight speed, you could just play in the whole house. Just have
Yep.
We're now going to the kitchen.
Put boxes everywhere, and here's a city.
Hey,
A challenge.
Do the calculation. He punches you into the sitting room. Okay, let's go.
For a modern or a superhero one, you could really challenge yourself and make a scenario that has to take place in like a Frank Lloyd Wright home or something really hard to make versus
You're fighting
falling
a
water.
spruce goose.
With the waterfall falling through the house, you know.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep, that's right. I built a scale model of the Statue of Liberty out of foam board so that we can actually break off the arm and beat each other with it in miniature form.
You maniacs! You maniacs!
And then it's going to explode because this is a Michael Bay production.
Now, Michael Bay, if you watch any Michael Bay film, it doesn't matter what film it is, he has to roll cars. He has to roll at least 2 or 3 cars. In every trailer, in every movie, everything is just cars rolling.
Yeah, but just before the car rolls, you've got to have that sound that goes. Bwah.
Yeah.
That's so overused. That's so overused these days.
And then it has to do it in slow motion as well. You know, it's like,
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
I better change my intro video. I had a bunch of that mwah sound effect. That was for my next series. I got to change it now. So
I have to
Wah.
ask you a question.
I was gonna say, where'd you find that? I was trying to find it.
Wah, wah, wah.
I want to find it.
Nathan, why on earth are you using that intro music?
why am I using what?
That intro music, it's.
But you know it.
I know.
Yes, but you already know
That's
it.
right,
See,
you
that's
know
what
it.
it is. So my background is in. You're gonna laugh because when you see how simple my videos are, well, I actually have a filmmaking degree, is what my background is in. I work in communications, but this is a hobby. So like, I tried to find a formula. I can throw these together in a couple hours because that's raising kids, work, all that. I mean, that's about how much time I have. But through that industry, a friend of mine said, "Hey, I'm gonna throw out all these corporate royalty-free CDs. Do you want them?" And I thought, sure, like I'll listen through and see. So I'd been listening to that one thinking there's got to be some dumb use I could have for this song. It's so bad. And and it's like a nostalgia. The font is the actual same font as like Family Ties, some of you might have noticed. And then what I started doing recently is the montage, freeze frame montage at the end of like, here's what you watched, one last warm fuzzy. So, but I think my hope is to subliminally like hook people into watching them, even if they hate the channel. It's like Dragon Strike. It's a Dragon Strike theory. It's bad you can't not watch it or listen to it. So that's what the music is for with my intro, I guess. So
the cheese factor is strong.
That's right.
Yeah.
You are strong with the cheese.
Who's it? Larry says, have any of you crafted a play table like the ones I posted on Scotty's page? No, I just use a dining room table. Don't have enough room for an individual game room.
I use a poker table. Big one, an 8-seater.
Nice.
Wow. Yeah, I don't have enough room either.
I have too much cardboard.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll make a table out of cardboard.
That's right.
That's the next challenge.
Well, I actually wanted to make a 2.5D/3D world map the size of the table, so in pieces.
Nice.
Similar, because every time I'm watching Game of Thrones and you see the intro, I'm like, I need to make one of those.
Oh yeah. First time I saw that intro, I thought, they've been watching our videos.
I had a thought.
Oh, it gives me warm fuzzies every time I see it.
Along those lines, I had a thought. There are some maps that I've seen that the scale is so big, to craft it would literally take up like 4 dining room tables. So then I thought about, what if you went half scale, or what do you think about doing something? And you'd use like, just a tiny little 1/4 inch or half centimeter chit to like represent your character. I don't know, because some of them I've looked at doing at some point look pretty. There's no way I could store them or make them to fit.
Right.
Well, I actually had an idea for, so if you're going to be in a session where you're going to play like several levels, because I use the compact dungeon, which you're going to see in Delving in the Dark. You could basically get a light board, like a poster board or something like that, and put a second dungeon on top. So you can just place it on top, because the 2.5D is so flat. You can just put the other level or the other sections on top of the other ones and continue playing. And you just have it off to the side, and can use double-sided masking tape or something just to hold the tiles in place. So
that's a good idea.
That's something I'd been considering, because then you just keep going, you just pick up the board, place the next level or the next section, and keep going. But it depends on the dungeon, you know. A lot of maps you see, there's like a 300-foot corridor. It's like long, straight, nothing there, you know. It's just, okay, you could say, okay, well, this corridor is 300 foot long.
Right.
Yeah. There's some questions here about any of us thinking about using our terrain to make online games and things like that. So if you're playing, say, a Skype show or something like that, having the actual tiles and stuff laid out underneath the camera, I'd imagine that's what they were talking about.
I do that all the time with my daughter.
Yeah, Scotty does that to a degree with his daughter,
she Skypes the game, and I just set the camera up, and I have the tiles and figures. And
yeah, I think that's something that people would have a lot of interest in, is actually how you set up a combination of live play and Skype play.
I think
because
I did a short video on it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One of my players just moved to Brisbane, so he's moved away, and I've got a desk lamp that's on a reticulated arm. And I'm going to attach a webcam to the desk lamp, so that I can just move the desk lamp over the terrain wherever we are, and then we'll devise a system like, I want to move from A1 to C7, and then, you know, I just move the mini to where he wants it to go, and then instead of seeing his face on Skype, because I don't need to see his ugly mug, I'll just have a dice tray, so I just see dice trays for everyone, and then I can see what they're rolling, and that's how I'm going to do it.
Yeah, I thought if
dice tray surveillance.
They had tablets or something like that, they could have a webcam picture pointed at the broadcast coming from you, so you're broadcasting the map, and they've got it on the screen here, and they say, I'm going to move here, and you just move the miniature there, so very easy and interactive. Joe says, I don't know if anybody's ever asked, but have you ever thought about doing other game things like board games and stuff like that in your crafting, like Monopoly and stuff? I don't know, it depends on whatever our interest is. We craft what we want to craft, you know, so there's no restrictions on what any of us would do.
Not at all.
I've got a game that I've been brewing. One of my kids fell asleep on the couch, and I picked her up to put her in her bed, and she says, in her sleep, she goes, "Bear pirates." And I thought, bear pirates. Now this is before Smash Up was out. So I made like a boat board, like this was in Photoshop before it was in 2.5D, but yeah, I really want to make a little Bear Pirates playing board and all sorts of antics and stuff. But Bear Pirates, there's a Michael Bay movie for you, Bear Pirates, but they still roll cars.
If you're into that stuff, there's a channel called Homemade Game Guru, who makes his own board games and actually sells them, and he tells you how to market them and do all that.
Oh, that's fun.
He's very good. You know, for just short-run homemade games. But he also talks about how to sell them and how to market them and all that kind of stuff as well. So if you're looking for it, it's called the Homemade Game Guru. I'm pretty sure that's what it's called.
Neat.
Yeah, there's some games which are published really dirt cheap, like Kill Dr. Lucky and Number One Patent Office and various other games like that don't really have any components to them. They just encourage you to make your own. So that's an option.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I'm going to make the ultimate Settlers of Catan map.
Ooh, yeah.
1 meter hexes. So
a giant one.
The robber is an actual person who actually stands on the tiles.
I envisioned a day actually where you go past a park or something. You know, the parks usually have like giant chess sets and things. The day that I go past and there's a Settlers of Catan set up here. Yeah, I'm moving there. That'll be awesome. Oh, Carpet Gnome says Bear Pirates versus Shark Ninjas.
Oh, yeah!
There's your enemy. There's who you're fighting, is the shark ninjas.
See,
Shark ninjas.
that goes back to the original question of when someone else had the idea before you.
When you... Hunter Wilton says, when you have to build something specific, how do you come up with what to use exactly? That's a very general question, Hunter.
Well, basically, I think about what it is, and if I've got anything in my kitchen or my garage or something like that, that is cheap, and if I need to get another one, I can, and that's how I go through the process. It always comes down to how inexpensive it is and how easy it will be to do and replicate and make a video out of it.
Yeah,
I've got a bracelet that says WWSD, what would Scotty do? And then I look to see in his backlog of videos, he's probably already done it, so how did he do it?
True.
Good point. I probably have.
It's like he hasn't done gnome bathroom slippers yet.
Ooh.
No, not yet. Not yet.
Actually, out of all of us, I think I'm probably most qualified to do stuff with gnomes, because I make gnomes. Actually, give me a second, I'll go and grab one for you.
Oh no, we're losing AJ. Okay, cue the elevator music.
Let me see if I can cue up my theme song somewhere. I don't know. Viewers will start dropping.
We'll just,
Oh, that's awesome.
AJ, you can't leave dead air. People start leaving in droves. Oh, cool.
Ooh.
This is my original, I call them Thufa.
At 25 millimeter, those are what we call giant gnomes.
Yeah, giant gnome. He's got this nonplussed looking face. It's just, I love it. It's just like,
awesome.
What? So yeah, gnomes. It's a cultural heritage. Let's see, did I miss any questions here? Does the train you've made guide your adventure, or does the adventure come first and then you make the terrain?
I usually work from, like Nathan's talking about, he gets his ideas from like a module or something like that. A lot of adventures I've run, I've gotten the germ of the idea from the module, and then I've crafted terrain around it, but I often change it. Like, I don't just go straight with the module. I'm never totally happy with the module, so I always change stuff, including the layout of whatever tiles. But generally, yeah, I'll craft it for the particular. But
I mean, I literally do not know what's in the room until about a minute before the players get there. So, yeah, that's why I do the modular system. So it's like, okay, is this going to be a wizard's room or a storage closet, or is there going to be a Tarrasque in there? How mean do I feel?
Gnome slipper storage closet.
Correct. I think we're struck on the title for episode 4, the Gnome Slipper Quest.
Yeah.
Yeah, if we can get some sort of slipper that makes a little sound when you stand on it, that'd be fantastic. Not a squeak. Not a squeak. It's got to be a... There's a raffle that has good dungeon tiles and a bunch of different ones. The people in the forum are just talking about different dungeon tiles and things. I love how you guys just start having your own conversation. It's fantastic.
Yeah, don't mind us.
Don't mind us.
We're just beaming from, like, 4 corners of the earth. It's starting in Australia, being beamed to America, and then back to Australia, and then back into America.
Right.
Christopher Tennant asks, have any of you had any success blending genres within one campaign? Savage World setting lends itself to the possibility, but wasn't sure if it would pull effect the fantasy setting immersion thoughts. I do that all the time, but unfortunately I can't talk about that sort of stuff because one of my players is in the room. But I've certainly mixed and matched different elements from different things. I never use stuff straight out of the box. Even though I played with Faerun for years in Forgotten Realms, I always added my own elements to whatever I was playing with. How about you guys?
I can't remember.
I have played. I really like the Savage World system. I've played. I've run some Deadlands, which is really cool. It's kind of like a Weird West type of thing. It'd be really easy to mix genres with Savage Worlds. But generally, when I do fantasy, I kind of like stay with the classic fantasy. I don't really throw too many science fiction or anything like that in there. But that's me.
Yeah. I find there's a certain amount of people come to play D&D because they want to play D&D. They don't necessarily want to play Cowboys in Space. What's that? That's
right.
Cowboys in Space.
Well, they want to be in a fantasy setting, and if it's kind of D&D-ish, then that's probably
right. Right. It'll satisfy that itch. Yeah.
Because I haven't played the straight D&D rules since I got the initial box, and an hour later I was rewriting the rules, so I already haven't. It's like, nah, don't like this.
Yeah, nothing wrong with that.
Yeah. Mark Gilbert says, how do you stay organised? I have a tendency to craft like crazy for a few days, and then there's a big mess and no place to craft anymore, and I just delay until my next crafting session. What makes you think we're any better? I can barely clear enough room so this place isn't cluttered behind me.
I know. I keep spreading.
My fiance says I want the dining room table back. I'm like, oh, I have to clean it up. And then I've got a video that's due out. Oh, now I've got to put it all back on again.
Yeah, never leave the house and a crafter alone in the house for a weekend, because you're going to come back to absolute mayhem. But just be like, I've got the place to myself. What am I going to do? I'm going to fill it with cardboard and hot glue.
What happened to all the wheat bix boxes?
Yeah.
There'll be a bag of wheat bix with no box.
Yeah, it says the cereal bags are sitting in the. Where are the boxes?
I'm busy making flocking with all the Kellogg's cornflakes.
You know you're a crafter when you've been upset with someone internally for not finishing up with whatever thing, so you could have the box, or like open the thing so I can have the clear plastic to make windows out of. Come on, like you just get impatient so you can get your junk.
Just have the other small bit of wheat bix. You don't, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, totally. We've all been there.
We're all there right now.
Larry Sodders asked a question before. Have any of you used any animated terrain using servos and motors? I've toyed with the idea. Also, somebody was talking about split level sort of terrain, so terrain going up with ladders and platforms and things like that. My latest craft warrior tree, it sort of plays with the idea of split levels and things, with stairwells going up walls and things. It's slightly practical if you've got a sort of a diorama set, so a corner piece sort of thing, so you can easily get in there and you just sort of turn it around to face the players, and things are going up and down like that. Yeah, with like your classic sort of ruined structure with two walls and a thing. But otherwise, it's not that practical as.
It's a lot of work.
And it's a lot of work making elven villages up at treetops and things like that. It's hard to do that very well. But there's a few examples out there of people who make terrain like that. But I haven't had a lot of play with it in my own games yet.
I'd love to have the time to go to that sort of level. But yeah.
Yeah.
If someone wants to donate $1 million to our cause, DM Scotty and I would be happy to make videos for you for the rest of the time.
Yeah. Actually, I was mentioning to somebody the other day, there's that Patreon thing, which is like an individual Kickstarter, so people basically start donating to individual artists, and they do that sort of stuff.
Terranscapes does that.
Yeah, Terranscapes does that, and Yeah, he does really good professional work. So he's at that level, but I don't know.
We're just down in the marshes.
Yeah, we've all got day jobs, So
Yeah, his day job is to make terrain, So
yeah.
Right.
DMG, how is 007 the cat?
007, he's not with me anymore. He lives with my former housemate who lives about 30-40 k's away. But I do see him every now and again, and when he is here, if I'm babysitting him, then he will make it onto the channel. But Chairman is always around. He was scratching at the door just now to get in because he wants to be in the warm room. All the computer equipment is heating up the room. Yeah. Yeah, no, 007 is enjoying himself in his new house. It used to be the two of them together all the time, and the reason I put them in the videos was so that I knew they would climb into the videos all the time, so I might as well include them.
Just go with it.
I'm sure Nathan will have that problem with his kids.
Oh yeah, the last couple I just posted one during the show, the retrospective, and sure enough, one of my kids like, well, just go with it. Come here, you can co-host with me here. So I get it, cats and kids.
Yep.
Hunter Wilton says, in your experience, what system has the best gunplay so it's effective but does not bog down the fun or the flow?
Hopefully 7D system.
The what? The 7D
7D
system?
system. That's what mine is called. Although I've only tested it in fantasy settings, I haven't tested it in modern yet. But I'll get there.
Yeah, it depends what if you're doing modern guns, or you're doing like a flintlock where you got to load it. It takes 5 minutes or not 5 minutes, but a minute to load or whatever. So I guess it depends.
I've tried to in the rules.
You're trying to simulate.
Yeah, I've tried to in the rules to think ahead. In terms of if you can take a character, if it goes ahead in time or something, it can use modern weaponry or sci-fi weaponry or whatever, and the rules don't need to change. It's just the equipment that changes.
Right.
So I've tried to incorporate that, but I haven't tested it yet. So that will come at some point.
As for me, the most familiarity I had with a modern setting was, as I said, the Heroes Unlimited setting, which does modern gunplay pretty well, and martial arts really, really well. It's an active defense game, so you can opt to parry or dodge or that sort of stuff. So I won't go into the details of that setting, but I know it like the back of my hand. So I'd say any setting you're really familiar with is the one which is going to work best for you, because you won't have, you want to be thinking about the action, not the rules.
Right.
Yeah, I've only done fantasy campaigns, but I know Pathfinder has some gunslinger rules, which seem pretty cool and pretty fast to pick up from the players I've seen that have used it. So,
Carpet Gnome says, if this has been asked before, ignore, but how do you feel about the popularity of the forum, DM's Craft? Did it meet your expectations? Good question.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just glad that so many people are getting on and posting, and I get inspired just as much as everybody else. So I'm just, the more the merrier. Tell your friends, get anybody you think would be interested in this, because the more people we have, the better. I mean, it's just, the ideas are great. They're just flying everywhere, and it's fantastic.
Yeah.
And if you are someone who thinks, they craft and then they don't post pictures of things because they're a little bit embarrassed by something or whatever, please post anyway, because oftentimes you've had an idea that we will be fascinated by your ideas. Your technical ability doesn't, that forum doesn't care about technical ability. It's about the ideas and sharing ideas. That's the most important thing.
Yeah. Don't presume that we know everything, because we most certainly do not.
Oh, well, I know everything, but
But don't presume that I do.
And as far as forum and Facebook goes, this is the nicest group of people you'll ever probably ever be in.
No better than this.
Yeah.
Yeah, we don't
I've always
tolerate
said-
any kind of... Yeah.
For how much
Negativity.
fantasy is talked about, there's a lack of trolls.
Yeah.
Right.
Online.
Yeah. We've
We don't
never
have
had an
edition
issue.
war fights or anything like that.
Yeah, I won't go into details about how I keep the place so nice. It's a little known moderator secret.
Yep.
The truth is I do nothing at all.
Just let it go organically.
Yeah, I think it's there's such a positive, creative atmosphere of sharing and communication on the forum that it just doesn't lend itself to trolls. So they get there and it smells too nice. You know, they're like,
Yeah.
touchy-feely, lovey-dovey feelings. Nobody's talking about anything controversial. I don't want anything to do with it.
It might go back to like, serious. It might go, well, 4chan, I mean, that's such a broad range. This is such a select interest that maybe it's like, man, you have a lot of spare time if you're going to pick this group to pick on. Where like, it's a very specific hobby. Serious.
Right.
However, we
Yeah.
may be challenging them by saying these things.
Oh, yeah.
Well, the only disparaging word which I had to haul somebody up on was just a cultural difference, really, where I was just it was a point where somebody was speaking in a language other than English on the forum, and somebody was just sort of joking about that. But the fact is, it's an international community, very much so. Just because majority of us speak English as a first language doesn't mean that that's where the craft starts and finishes. I mean, we've got quite a big following of people in Brazil and Germany, and it's an international game. So
feel free to post in another language because we can all let us do the work by translating it in Google Translate. Because if people are interested, they'll translate it and they'll respond to you.
yeah.
But don't expect
for sure.
the
I mean,
translation to be 100%.
yeah,
How
we're
do you
limited
say
to
like
what
button?
people.
Like button?
in
Like
Portuguese.
button!
How do you say it in Portuguese?
In Portuguese, I don't know. Muchos batono!
How about Klingon?
Klingon crafters.
That's right.
Or do they have like in Klingon?
Well, Stargate. Java!
Maybe they don't have that word.
They're angry about everything, man.
Cree button!
Como el batón. Oh wow, Swahili is quite cool. Kama kufungo. Kifungo.
Hama kufungu.
That's great.
Tete si cosa kakulo wena. Ama
Jeez.
kwada kaningi.
You could end a video every single video with a different language. That'd be fantastic.
You got to learn the clicks though.
It would.
It's like in Xhosa you got to say Dr. Ikriha.
Oh,
Try that. That took me about 7 years to learn how to do that properly, and then I
Wow.
left the country.
On our Facebook group, though, I think I've seen every continent minus Antarctica, unless you haven't said anything, represented.
Oh, yeah.
Which is just,
Oh, yeah.
right now. Any scientists down there, go ahead and join the group. But I mean, how cool is that? You know?
Yeah, super cool.
Oh, for sure.
I love it.
I'm gonna go to Antarctica just to fill in that section. Gonna be there.
Plant the crafter flag
That's right.
in Antarctica.
It's 2.5D, so it's like flat.
short of having a
card
game on
lapse
Mars,
is-
I don't think it'd get cooler than that.
Next
That would be
phase,
pretty
moon.
cool. Get it? Cool.
In fact, the only reason why the American government is considering going back to the moon is because we need to go there for our crafters tavern.
Yes. I'm looking forward to. Actually, we should insert somebody into that the Mars mission game show.
Way ahead of you.
So it's like, so what are we going to do for the next 5 years? Let's have a D&D game.
Oh, yeah.
We got all the
Guys,
secret
Sci-fi
building
game on our
materials.
way.
Yeah, it has to be sci-fi.
Yeah, it's got to be. What are we going to have? Well, given that most of our crafting material is red dirt, it's got to be a post-apocalyptic game in the style of Mad Max, filmed in the Australian outback.
Who took all the
Fantastic.
copies of Mars Trilogy out of the library?
Yeah, those are a good read, by the way. I really recommend those.
It is very good. That at some point
It's,
it'll be a TV show.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, that would lend itself well to a TV show. That's Red Mars, Blue Mars, Green Mars.
I think what you'll find that after Game of Thrones has done so well, they'll because James Cameron owns the rights to the Mars Trilogy.
Okay.
He bought them whenever the books were written, so hopefully he decides to do something with them other than Avatar 2, 3, 4, and 7.
Yeah. I'm wondering where he's going to go with that. I kind of lost touch with the writers when they described the material they're after as unobtainium.
Yep.
It's bothered me.
Yeah.
Bullshittium.
That's not on the periodic table. That's not on the periodic table.
That's number 347.
Gamertoe says you guys should all play the game Arty, the bridge simulator. That's the spaceship bridge simulator. I think you guys would make a good crew for a ship.
Yep.
Tell you the truth, we probably would make a really good team for playing some sort of cooperative online game.
Well, you'd be the
That'd be
science
A
officer.
good ship,
Yeah. Captain,
a good ship
I'm
craft a
picking
lot.
up no signal.
There seems to be a small...
Damn it, Scotty!
Or someone goes, Leroy Jenkins!
Scotty, give us more power, will you?
More power!
At least I got chicken.
Yeah. Oh, now they're talking about playing with the Mars rover.
Yeah.
Why did the rover just roll a d20? Somebody carved Thaco on the side of the mountain. Oh boy. Well, I think the questions are starting to peter out from our
Well,
crafting groups.
this is the longest one we've done so far. I think we're almost approaching 1.5. I think we've got an hour and 45 minutes. So,
Yeah.
Yeah.
well, okay. So if you don't know who we are by now, AJ's channel is AJ Pickett, and he has a series called The Mighty Glue Stick, which is which is a look into all the the comments on the forums and what's interesting on the forums. And Earl T. Gray, which is Nathan, he has a channel called Crafting Times. Well, his channel name is Earl T. Gray, but his series is Crafting Times. DM Scotty, you know, because you're watching his channel right now. And I'm the DMG, and my channel is the DMG Info. And we're happy to get new subscribers at all times. So, in closing, I have to go like button on Scotty's channel. And Scotty, how do you normally finish your videos?
I usually say, go forth and craft!
Okay, so all at once. 3, 2, 1. Go forth and
Go
craft!
forth and
craft!
Oh.
All right, we're going to sign out now. Thank you very much for joining us from all over the world. It's very nice of everyone to take the time to listen to us drone on. So in the next Crafters Tavern, we're hoping to have Mad Lad Designs join us. He has not responded to me yet, so we'll find out. And that will be on the 1st of August. So in America, Friday the 1st of August. In the far other hemisphere where we live, that will be the next day. So that's 4 p.m. PDT, 6 p.m. Central, 7 p.m. EDT, 11 p.m. GMT, and 9 a.m. AEST, which is the Australian Standard Time. And AJ is about 4 hours into the future.
Yes, now it's 12:47 p.m. Saturday afternoon here, so that gives you some idea.
I'm 10:47.
What about Mars time?
It's
8:47 here.
it's the day after tomorrow.
Alrighty. Okay, well, thank you very much, everyone. I'm now going to play us out, and we hope to see you again next time. right, Scotty, you can click that button, and then everyone will disappear.